Hi there, this is Coach Michelle, and in this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to upload a piece of content to your website, specifically a piece of written content like a blog post or an article. So let's go to my desktop. You will want to go to your browser. In the browser address bar, you're going to type in the name of your website. So in this case, I'm going to do it for one of my coaching clients right now. So wolfrecruiting.com/WP-admin. And that's going to pull up a sign-in form. We're going to log in using your username and your email address. We're going to use the username, and we're going to do the password, and we're going to log in. That will take you to your dashboard. Here on the left-hand side, this sidebar is where you have all of your navigation. So we are going to go to posts, and we're going to add a new post. So again, this sidebar column, go to posts. You could click just on post if you want to, but we're going to go directly to add new. That will pull up this screen where you're adding a new post. Now, hopefully you have already written it in, say, Word or Google Docs. This one was written in Word, so we're going to go pull up that Word document. We are going to, this is her title. It's a little bit long for just the title in the blog post, so we're going to just use this part. Simple copy, and then we're going to paste it into this title. Now this right here is going to also become the slug for your blog post. So that will be, wolfrecruiting.com/7 steps to win-win referrals. That will show up in here in just a minute. Now, going back, there it is. There's your link, wolfrecruiting.com/7 steps to win-win referrals. You can edit that if you want. For right now, we'll just leave it. Now we'll go over here to, I like to copy and paste into the text platform. So you could do visuals here where you have all the bells and whistles of formatting. But to copy and paste it, let's just go into text. So we'll go back. We're going to copy and paste this entire article. All right, we don't need to do the previously published on. That was for if she's going to post it other places. So again, we're going to do a simple copy. Go back over here to our dashboard, our WordPress dashboard to add the new post. Now we're going to do a simple paste as plain text. Make sure you do the paste as plain text, because otherwise it'll pull in the formatting from Word, and then you have to redo all of that. So paste as plain text. There you go. So now that doesn't look very good, right? It just is a bunch of text. So now you click back over here to the visual tab. Looks a little better, right? Now here's where we can do all of our formatting. So this we're going to highlight. We're going to say this is not part of the paragraph. This is part of our heading. And you see that it pulled both because it recognized that both were the same. If you wanted to change that, all you have to do is click over here to the what we would consider a subhead, perhaps. Click at the beginning of it, do a backspace, and then do a hard enter. So just hit enter. Now that's a hard return. Now that separates it, and you can call it maybe heading 2, which will make it look different. And you do want to, I always want to bold this just in case the back end of your website doesn't already have that bolded for the style of your headings. So go ahead and just bold that just to make sure. All right, and we're going to bold this as well. Okay. So now you've got this big article where it's just, it still needs a little bit of formatting, right? So as you come down here, enter your cursor into the body of the text and enter your paragraphs, do some bolding, do some other formatting just to make it easier to read in a web form, in a web platform. When people are reading online, you need to make it look a little different so that it's easier to read. So in other words, you want to use the bullets, you want to use the headers and the subheaders, and in this case it's heading 2, 3, 4, 5. All of these are different, and they're going to make it easier to read. It's also going to be signals to the search bots as to what your content is about. So, and this in her original article, in the original document, it had some weird line breaks. So you want to go through and you want to fix those kinds of things as well. So you're just looking through it. Okay, so there's a paragraph. Let's do an enter, and then you have to, you may have to delete some spaces, some lines, depending on how the original document happened to be formatted. So you just keep going down here. Here's another good spot. Remember, paragraphs on the web should also be shorter than in a regular document, because again, it's all about how it's going to look. So here she has a numbered list, and the easy way to format that in your WordPress is to go ahead and highlight your numbers. This is similar to how you would do it in Word. So you highlight them and come up here to, and doesn't this look also like Word? Bold, italic. Here's your bulleted list button, and here's your numbered list button. And when you do the numbered list, it just kind of indents it a little bit. And now it's showing all of this as number 1, right? So we're going to take out her pre-formatted number 1, go here to the end of her first item, do a hard enter, just that's hitting the enter button, and then reformatting it a little bit so that it just looks right once you're in WordPress. So again, what I'm doing is I'm placing the cursor, I'm hitting enter, and then I'm hitting delete just to pull that other content back up to make it look right. All right, so here's another one. And here's another one. Now, as you're looking at this, her numbered list, each one of them has a little subheading. We're going to bold that. And now if we do a shift enter, we can put that onto a different line, but it's still being part of number 1 of her first item. Okay, let's do the same thing to number 2. We're going to bold the little subheading for number 2. Just highlight it, click the bold button. Then remember, shift enter, place your cursor where you want to break that line, break that text. Put the cursor there, then shift enter, and that adds a new line. And we are going to do that for all of these. We're going to bold that first little line, shift enter on all of her 7 points. Now, her closing. All right, I think that looks like it should be another paragraph. Okay. Now, this is a call to action at the very end. So she's got, or if you'd like to schedule a free 20-minute consultation. So we are going to highlight that. We are going to bold and italicize that. Okay, to call attention to her call to action. All right, so what we can do is we want to save this draft. We're not completely done, but we want to save the draft. so that we don't lose any of our work. All right, so now we go over here to categories. You should, in your WordPress website, have some categories. This is an article, so we're not going to have it as uncategorized. We're going to have it as an article. We are going to tag it as, what did she call it? Referred to a recruiter, now what? Referrals, win-win referrals. So let's tag it. You want to tag it as a way for people to be able to easily find it again on your website. So we're going to call this referrals. We're going to call this referred to a recruiter. You can have whatever tags you want in there. If you have share, some of these are different from different plugins. If you have share buttons enabled, you definitely want to keep them unless it's a piece of content that you don't want shared, and you should be able to click that there. All right, so we do not have a featured image yet in all of this. And so let's do that. Let's again save our draft and let's preview what this looks like right now, just as a text-only blog post. So you can click right here on preview. And let's look at what that is going to look like. Okay, so, it's okay. It's fairly easy to read. I think maybe we want some additional lines in between these numbers, and we can do that. Some of them are a little bit long, and we can break those up as well. Okay, so always when you've done a preview, make sure that you X out of that up here at the top, X out of that preview tab, go back to your WordPress. Okay, so we wanted to break up some of these long numbers, right? And we also wanted to add some extra lines. So remember, that's a shift enter. Go to the end of your paragraph, do a shift enter, and get yourself an extra little space in there. A shift enter. And when I say that, you hold down the shift key and then you hit the enter key. Pretty simple. Okay, so all of these are questions, or that she's suggesting that her audience ask. So if we click on all of these, highlight all of these questions, what happens if we consider, nope, that's not going to work. Okay. Undo and undo. Okay, that little undo and redo button, gold. Make sure this is a writer downer. Make sure you remember the undo buttons. Okay, so let's just do a shift enter, and then we can, oh, there it is, our special characters. If we wanted to add, for example, just a little bullet, we can do that. Okay, shift enter, special character of a bullet. Shift enter, special character of a bullet. Okay, and you can do that for all of these. I'm going to call them a sub-bulleted list inside your numbered list. Okay, you get the idea. And we're going to do a little, giving some extra spaces there. Spaces, when you're on a website, the extra line spaces, airing this out is just going to make it easier to read. And you want the reader experience, you want your website visitor experience to be as easy as possible. All right. So you notice how I just left this right up to the little subheading on this one and on this one, but then I thought, well, maybe I want an extra line. Let's look at how it's going to look, and then you can decide which one you prefer, which one you think your audience is going to find easiest to navigate, easiest to read. So again, we're going to go up to preview. we are going to look at, okay, so here it is with just the single space. We need to do some more single spacing there. And here's it with more spaces. And now this looks kind of funny. It's not pulling in the space at the end that I wanted it to. So let's go back over here. And let's put them all in. And again, this is another long paragraph. We'll want to come back and break that up. And I'm seeing some more of those hyphenated words. Now, when you set up your Word document that you're writing this in, to avoid those, just it's in your settings of your Word document, and you do not want to. You want it to be justified left rather than the full even justifications, and you don't want to hyphenate line breaks. So just make sure that those are set properly in your Word document. Then you don't have to go through and fix it once you get it into your WordPress. All right. Now, we wanted to add a featured image, and we also want to put an image somewhere in this article, in this blog post. So perhaps we want to do it up here, or even at the very top. So let's put our cursor at the very top, and you're going to go up here to add media. Your image is a piece of media. So click on Add Media. It'll show you all the things that you've got so far, all the images you've got uploaded so far to your website. So in this case, let's just use this image. And we'll insert it into Post. Now, it's very large because we inserted it at regular size. So instead of being so large, if you click on the image, then you click here on this little pencil button, that is your edit button, and it will say, okay, so it's at the large size. It's a little too large. You have your options of clicking it in, of resizing it into some standard formats, or you can do a custom size. We're going to do medium and just update. Pretty simple. And do we like it centered? Well, yeah, maybe. Or maybe we want it over here, over to the right. You can change all of that depending on how you want your blog post to look. Okay, so now that you've put an image into your blog post, let's set that as your featured image as well. All right, so now in this case, she has a plugin for SEO. So here, what you want to do, this is what is going to tell the search engines what this article, this blog post is all about. Your intro is usually what is going to be pulled in as your meta description as well. So if you just copy again, so you're highlighting, you're doing a right click, you're hitting copy, scroll down, and then again right click, paste as plain text into the meta description. We're going to say this document title is that 7 steps to win referrals to recruiters. Or we could do the document title as referred to a recruiter. Now what? I kind of like that even better. So there's your document title, referred to a recruiter. Now what? Now, If you wanted to change, and I think maybe we should, so let's highlight this, copy that, come back all the way up. Remember when we first did our post title? We can change that at any time we want. So let's just copy it, delete it, and paste our new one in. Referred to a recruiter, now what? Now, the permalink still has what originally was there, right? So let's just edit that. And you can highlight it, change it to do whatever you want. Of course, now you don't want spaces in here. So if you just click OK, see how it's going to put in your dashes. So it's going to do all of that for you. Okay, so now your link is the same as your post title. Your post title is the same as your document title. This is your meta title for SEO. You don't need that portion of it in your description, but the subheading could be in your description. 7 steps to win-win referrals. All right, does all of this look like something you would want to find on a search page? This is the nugget of it, right? It's important to know and understand how to leverage relationships with recruiters to empower success and save everyone time. So let's put that. 7 steps to win-win referrals, how to leverage relationships with recruiters to empower success and save everyone time. So your meta description can have 156 characters, which normally show up on your search result page. Right now it's showing you that you've used 118. So you can tweak this a little bit. Remember, you want to try and use your keywords. What are somebody searching in Google for that should bring them to your article? That's what you want to use as your keywords. So your keywords would maybe be referred to a recruiter, right? If somebody has been referred to a recruiter, they're not sure how to go about taking their next steps or what they should know. Maybe that's what they've typed into Google. This article is a good answer to those questions that they are having. So that makes this a good keyword. And look at that. That's one of our tags that we already had put too. So if your keyword and you should always have your tags and your keywords kind of match. That shows that it's a good piece of content that is optimized for those keywords. So that keyword should be in your title, and look, it is referred to a recruiter. It should also be in your meta description. So 7 steps to win-win referrals, how to leverage relationships with recruiters to empower success and save everyone time. Let's do what to do once you've been, here's your keyword. Whoops, I can't spell it right, but referred to a recruiter. All right, so now it's a little bit bigger than it needs to be. So saving everyone time, can we cut some of that out? You have to decide what's most important here. Maybe we want to take out the whole 7 steps to win-win referrals. How does that look? That puts us under the character point. How about if we do, we like the 7 steps, however, so how about 7 steps to leverage relationships? So that's within our character point. I think it gets the point across. So you have to do a little tweaking and a little massaging once you're entering this content into your website, because you want to always remember you are looking for a good user experience for your reader, but it also has to be a good user experience for those search robots so that your piece of content will show up in those search results and be found by your audience who is looking for the answers to what you're sharing in your article, in your piece of content. So again, let's go up here to Save Draft. Let's preview this. Okay, now you see how our image shows up here. She's got her sharing buttons. Here's your your post title, and that's okay for it to be here small, and then here's your actual title that you've formatted in your blog post. Remember, this was the heading, this was the heading 2 or your subheading. We've still got a little spacing issues there. It looks like it's not giving me a space at the end of those numbered items. But everything else looks fairly good, right? So we're going to go ahead and close our preview. We are going to, if you don't like some of the, it's not saving some of the line breaks in the visual editor. So go over to the text editor. It's going to be a lot of the coding. You're going to see a lot of the coding, like the H1 image class, all of this. Let me highlight it for you. All of this is code, which you don't see in the visual editor, but you see in the text editor. So if you go to, so for example here, we wanted an extra space there, right? We wanted an extra space here. Sometimes you have to do it in the text side to make it stick. You want to be careful over here that you're not putting anything inside of the code brackets. So just be aware of that and be careful of where you're placing your cursor. Okay, so we wanted to go back in and enter those extra lines in between our paragraphs, right? Okay, so what I have gone in and done in the text tab of the formatting, I've gone in and I've just entered, pressed enter where I wanted the extra line breaks, right? So for example, after the for example, I just put the cursor there and hit enter. Now I've entered 2, but so I just wanted the 1. When you go into it and you are doing your formatting in the text, it will sometimes just take better than when you're doing it in the visual formatting tab. So save draft. And then we're going to preview. The other thing that you can do with that text tab is if you find some place where it is formatted properly, you can go into where the text is, find where that is, find where it's formatted properly, and then just mirror and copy the code that is there. But let's look and see how it looks now. So 1 space before and after our numbered list header. We still need an extra space after this one, but the number 1 was right. See, we need another one after this one, but number 4 is right. So, and the rest of them look to be right. So we just need to go back into that text tab, and sometimes you have to delete back up to here and then do the enter so that it deletes any of the hidden formatting that may be there. This is still a little long, so we probably want to add an extra line break there. This is the benefit of going back to the preview, because you want to look to see that it is right. Sometimes it takes a little extra time to go back and forth and figure it out, but trust me, it is worth that extra time that you spend, because you do want this to look right. You do want it to look professional, and you know, you want it to be a good experience. It's a good reflection on you when that visitor when that reader is at your website. So take the extra time, go back through the text, and so preparation. It looks like there's one there, right? But perhaps there wasn't. Or maybe it's the strong. Maybe that needs to be on the extra line. And then do the enter. You see where that was? See on these, the end code was on a separate line, and on these it was on the same line. That may have been just the one little thing that was wrong up here in these. So again, let's save our draft. Let's preview it. Scroll down, and that did it. Okay, so sometimes it's just a matter of doing a little detective work. Look to see if there's any spot on in your blog post that is actually looking like it's supposed to, like you want it to. Go find out what it looks like in that text format, and then make the other parts look the same. So in this case, we had that end strong. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This needed to be on its own separate line instead of being just behind the subhead. Okay, so once we are happy with it, let's go back to the preview again. And I do want to, let's scroll back up. I do want to, there was one that was a little long. This one is a little long. So let's go back over here to the text. Oops. Let's X out of that, so when we preview it again, it's a fresh preview. All right, so where was that? It was this one. And it doesn't really look all that long in this format, but it did look a little bit long in the preview. So let's just break that up a little bit. Okay. And all I was doing was placing the cursor and then hitting enter to create those extra paragraphs. Line breaks in between the middle of the paragraph. So again, let's hit preview. It's taking shape now. Header, subhead, image, proper spacing, little bullet list inside the numbered list, proper spacing. It looks really good. Now the last thing that I would do, and I would hope that you have done this before you copy and paste, but I want you to go back and I want you to read out loud your article. And I want you to read it out loud from the preview page, from the preview, tab here. By reading it out loud, you tend to, when we don't read out loud, when we're reading just to ourselves in our head, we kind of skim, and we, in our mind, places in the words that need to be there. If you read it out loud, you'll catch words that are in that shouldn't be, or words that aren't in that should be. Okay, so it's a nice way to find the missing thes, or the missing a's, or the missing small words. It also is a way to really proof what you've written, so that you can sound like you. It should sound like you're having a conversation. It should sound not stuffy. It should sound natural, right? And when you read it out loud, you're focusing. You are forced to focus on each individual word, and find what needs to be tweaked and fixed. So I am not going to read this all out loud, but I do want you to. Then when you are happy with it all, close the preview, come back over here, and publish it. Okay, just click publish. Say, for example, you've done all this work and you're not quite ready to publish it. As long as you have saved this draft, it will have saved it, and you can come back to it in an hour. If you have a meeting, you have a phone call, whatever it is, To find your saved draft, you just go over here to your sidebar navigation column, go to posts. So I just clicked on posts. You could also click on all posts, and you have now all of them, all of your different posts, and you'll see the one that's a draft. So you go to this draft and you click the edit, and that will take you right back to where you were before. We were editing the text tab in the text format in the text window. We can always go back to visual if we would rather do that. Make sure that it's good, and then again click publish. That is it. It is a little bit technical. Sometimes you do have to do a little bit of detective work, but you can do this. You really can. It's not that difficult. Be sure to come back to this video tutorial when you need to. If you need to, be sure to come back and walk through it again until it becomes second nature. On the other hand, you don't want to spend all of your time doing this. So sometimes when you're to that point, sometimes it's much easier to just say, here's my piece of content, this is what I want it to look like, and then hire a web maintenance person, a webmaster, to maintain your website and upload your new content. Work towards that point. Work towards where this is going to be something that you delegate to somebody else, to an assistant, to a trusted advisor, to a webmaster. As soon as you can comfortably and it makes sense in your business to delegate it to somebody else, do that. Because if this is not the best use of your time, you shouldn't be doing it. Okay? That's it for now. I hope this has helped. Get out there and publish some content.